Hey everybody, thanks for logging in. We've got a few people already on here, so I think we'll dive right into it. Just want to have a quick check that everybody can hear me okay. So if someone can drop something in the comments, so I know that I'm not talking to myself. All right, we'll get straight into it. I know obviously everyone's probably here for the duck race and the $100 merch pack giveaway, but we'll get to that in due course. But we'll go through the normal segments that we usually go through first, and then we'll chip away and get to the duck race at the end. Remember, you need to have a team name to hand, and we'll drop them in before we do the race. We'll always start off in the same spot. It's every week we've done these. This is the third week we've done 4 shows, and every week's been the same. There's been a lot of activity. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I've probably, as most of you would know, I've probably been on the Discord more this last week than anything. I've had a bit more time on my hands for a variety of reasons, but maybe that's why I feel as if things are starting to get busier and busier. I think we'll probably dip down around the Christmas New Year time, but the activity just hasn't stopped this last week, so we'll cover off some of that. But first of all, we'll just have a quick look at the floor. I was looking, as I always do, so we'll just do a quick refresh of that. I was hoping our mate the West Side Cyclops might have been picked up between now and going live. You never know, we might get someone pick it up off the stream, because I know some of you don't like it. I know I talk about it quite a bit. I think it's just one of those emotional barriers to any project. Once you go live, you have that initial excitement, then comes the dip, and you've got to rebuild, and during that rebuild phase there's heaps of projects that just die and burn out. I think when you get to that emotional barrier of the mint price, it's just something that shows the health of a project. And whilst we don't talk about the floor and all that stuff too often compared to some of the other projects that we're probably all in, I've been looking forward to that moment when we do get past that 0.08. As you can see here, one team, the West Side Cyclops, I'm going to give it a bit of airtime because I'm convinced somebody should be picking it up at 0.079. Spectra is the owner of the team. Hawthorn jersey, I know that divides people's opinions at times, but I think they've been sort of popular. Not as popular as the Newcastle jersey, of course, but thanks Adzi for pointing that out. Pretty average performance from Newcastle last night, so always good to get that sort of heckle in the chat out of the way early. But richest club in the world, so give it a few years when NFTeams is pumping. I'm sure Newcastle will be doing a lot better. We'll have a quick look at the levels. Nothing to shout home about. It's an interesting team, because I don't know. We've talked about the wrestling masks before, and I don't think I've spoke to anyone who said that's my favorite trait. But you've got the Cyclops, which is obviously some people are fond of the Cyclops. I don't mind them. But you can't see the Cyclops eye, because you've also got the swimming goggles on the swimming goggles over the top. So not only have you got a mask, you've got the swimming goggles, and then the eagle-eyed guys amongst you will see the little earring there. There's a lot going on, and I don't know. I think somebody will probably be buying this either for the jersey or because it's cheap. Maybe somebody who needs a Cyclops in their team as well. So hopefully it goes, but I've got a little feeling that might stick around for a while. We'll talk about the zombies. We'll talk about the zombies a little bit later. They're going to be one of our characters we focus on during the chat. But I don't know when the last time we've looked at the floor and found that there wasn't a zombie there. So we had a bit of a run on today in the sales, which was great. We've had quite a few new wallets, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But obviously we want to make zombies great again, but it's a slow grind. A few of them were picked up. The next 3, the 0.08s, we've got around about 8 or 9 teams at 0.08, and then it gets up to 0.09. It's actually a bit of a thick floor going up to 0.1. I think there's a lot of people have that emotional barrier in their mind to list over or above 0.1 ETH. So I think it'll be a while before we get there, but as I've said, it'll be good if we can knock over and get into that 0.08. I'm sure once we get there, somebody will list underneath it, but we're not too far away. And I think there's been anywhere between 2 and 10 under that 0.08 all week. And as we get into the weekend, obviously you would have all seen gas has been incredibly low, relatively speaking, of course, and that's probably given a lot of opportunity for people to dive in and pick up some teams. So the activity over the last couple of days has been really good. In terms of what's on the floor and what I'd be looking at the moment, I don't have myself a baggy green at the moment. There's been 2 or 3 of those this week, which I probably should have picked up. I'm trying to be really disciplined. I've talked about that before with the number of teams I've got and making sure people get the chance to pick up the good ones. But the Hot Wallet Happy Feets has been around for quite a while. 0.085 seems like reasonable for a baggy green. Obviously, I'm always in the hunt for the black and white Newcastle shirts, and there's a couple of those kicking around about that 0.1 level. But the good thing is here they're not all zombies. There's quite a few zombies, and I was chuffed to bits when I saw somebody pick a few of them up earlier on, because it was starting to be the whole floor was taken up by zombies. But I think this guy here, we talked about this in the Discord last night. I can't believe he sat there at 0.08, the Athens Pounces. Apart from being pretty cool, I think the blue hoodies, they're the ones that are connected to the animated teams, and I think the blue hoodies, there's a lot of people that like the looks of those. So I think for this one at 0.08, I'm surprised that the levels aren't great, and that's probably why it's stuck around. But yeah, I'm surprised it's been on there. I think it's been on there for a good few days actually. So I think that might be one of the ones under the 0.1 that somebody, either a new wallet will come in and like the look of it. But we'll wait and see. I'm just gonna have a quick look through the comments. I know I've considered buying the Cyclops, but I do have a Cyclops. As you know, I'm after a Koala, a Panda, and a Zeus, and I'm trying to hold out for those in Newcastle United shirts. So I'm being pretty picky and pretty selective. I've got a few teams, so I'm wanting to try and to keep I'm saving for that Zeus. I think some of you would know in the Discord, I've probably got there in terms of the price that I need. I'm just now got to try and put some offers in, but hopefully somebody will pick it up. We always see in the comments, I think one of the guys might have picked that up. Let me just refresh that. The D Races crew have come in today, the Dirk Army, and they've taken the Discord by storm, picked up quite a few good teams. Yeah, it's gone. That is absolutely fantastic. Now 0.08 is the new floor. First time since we've pretty much that first day, 24 hours, 48 hours after we went live. So the D-Racer Army have now picked up, I think 3. Yeah, we saw the Rug Pull Ducks was the first one. They've picked up a zombie, which I was pretty chuffed about. So thanks, mate, for picking that one up and making zombies great again. I think the West Side Cyclops will be found a pretty good home there. So that's gone. We can get over that emotional barrier. 0.08 is the new floor for NFTeams. We've passed the mint. I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be honest. So thanks for helping that out again. Whilst we're on the chat comments, have a look at the if there's anything that comes through either before or during the stream. If there's anything you wanna ask, let me know. We can cover it off. We can always pivot. I've got a few things that I like to run through, and we'll have a look at the any of the traits or any of the characters anyone wants to we want to go through. Yeah, I can't fix the duck race, unfortunately, but the Cyclops would be winning the duck race if I was able to decide. I'll tell you what we'll do now. We'll just run through a few stats. I usually update these during the week, but I think there's been again a few people that are interested in them, some people that aren't. But I think this graph, I put it out on Twitter, and it's probably shout out to Koo. There'll be a few shout outs to Koo this pod, but he linked to this in the Discord, and I took it and chucked it on Twitter. It's probably been one of the posts. I do post quite a bit on Twitter, as you know, but it's probably been one of the posts that's picked up the most traction. People have shared it and posted it out. This is the graph of the last 7 days of NFTeams ownership. and you can see the trend. I think we had the tweet that went out had the 1 month trend, and it's you see that initial period after the mint and the pre-sale, and then it starts to go up and up and up and up week on week over the last 4 weeks. I think it's a really healthy point. This time last week we had 2,120 individual wallets. We've now got 2,142 individual wallets, so it doesn't sound like much, but that's 20 new wallets that's come in, picked up at least one team. We obviously think there'll be a bit of a rise in that number as the tournaments begin, and we sort of push a little bit more out on Twitter. But if that trend continued, we'd be at 2,320 by the time end of January came around, and we'd be at 2,500 by the end of March. Those are pretty solid numbers for the type of project we are, and we all know that a lot of people have picked up multiple teams. The number's pretty impressive, but as a few people have pointed out in the Discord, there's probably quite a few. I know Jay Downs, myself, there's a lot of us talk about having syndicates and other people in. I've got a couple of teams with 10 of us that are sharing, so that's 9 other people that are directly connected and linked in with the project. If you start separating those out, we're actually got quite a big reach. But overall, I think the trend is really pleasing, and hopefully that'll continue and chip away. There's a few of us feel guilty when we pick up a team, or when we look at a team and it's the last team in someone's wallet, because we don't want to chip that off. But sometimes the bargains are too good. A couple of other things that we normally talk about. Last weekend when we were on, we did Saturday night, and I'll try and fiddle with the times just so people can try and make it. If you've got an idea of which times you think might be better, let me know. But we've moved it around to the Sunday night this week. So last weekend we had 225 teams that were remaining under 0.15. Again, just an arbitrary number. But I go on every day and just have a quick look at which teams and how many teams are below that number. I'm tracking a few different numbers, but essentially they're all trending in the same direction. Just before we went live, it was at 198. It's now at 197, thanks to the D-Racer crew and the Cyclops going. But again, that trend's going down. It does fluctuate up and down. I think we had a period of 7 days running where the number of teams listed below 0.15 was going down. And then we had a couple of days when it went back up. Gas was pretty high, and a few people listed in that range. But overall, the graphs that I've been putting out on Discord show that there's a nice trend over a couple of weeks now. Wallets going up, number of teams in that low to mid area going down for sale, people holding on. The other thing is obviously the total number of wallets. Some people have sort of said doesn't really mean too much, but we've been above 1,200, so 12% for quite a while. You'll see here we've just dropped down to 11.9%. Again, it's not a massive change, but the trend is solid, and I think I'm expecting a little bit of a drop off around Christmas and New Year while everyone's out doing other things in real life. But this is pretty good considering we are still 5, 6, 7 weeks away from the tournament kicking off, and we've, as Steve always does, there hasn't been a hell of a lot of market and a hell of a lot of shilling. There's a few of us pushing a few things out here and there and talking about it in the relevant Discords, but all signs, and the stuff that I like to cover on these types of shows, all signs trending towards being good. Having said that, we're not just going to sit here and talk about how good we are all the time. If they're trending back the other way, we'll cover it and we'll touch on it, and there'll be reasons why, and they'll probably just be as interesting. But yeah, pretty happy with how all that's going. Segment we're going to try and include every week is the sale of the week and the highest sale of the week. Just before I get onto that, yeah, in the chat, I think that the discussion around syndicates is an interesting one. Some of you would know I've been doing a little bit of work over at the Ballman project. Now, I don't want to harp on about that. It's been an absolute train wreck in many respects, but I found it really, really interesting because what it is, it's a project that has got non-NFT people trying to cut across to NFTs, and it's shown that unless you actually know the NFT market, the way that people think, it'll just fail, and that one has. One of the big failing points and one of the stumbling blocks was that even though Stan Wawrinka has got 1.7 million people in his Discord, on his Twitter, they just don't know how to get into NFTs. They don't know what an NFT is, and you can educate them or show them a YouTube video. But getting in, getting a MetaMask, navigating OpenSea, loading it with Ethereum, it's actually not that easy. And there's all of us would have gone through this from time to time. There's some nervy moments when you initially opening that wallet and moving your money around, and I think that was one of the big feelings for that particular project. The issue, or one of the things I like about syndicates and what I've done with my friends is, you ask them for a bit of money. I know not financial advice, and there's tax issues in certain countries, and you'll have to work that one out for yourself. I still haven't got my head around it, but you get a couple of mates involved. They each chuck $50, $100 in. It doesn't take much to get enough people in just to buy a team. And I think I've got in total around about 14, 15 lads in that didn't have any NFTs, didn't have any MetaMask wallets, never been on OpenSea, now own a stake or a chunk in a range of different teams that are in my wallet, and eventually they'll get wallets. I think 3 or 4 of them already have getting wallets. So I think slowly but surely, the more people that are connected in with it, not necessarily directly in with a wallet and a team for themselves, that'll grow and that'll grow. And obviously when the tournaments kick off and people start seeing the amount of ETH up for grabs and the banter there, I think that'll be a big part of trying to onboard people. And then obviously the Coinbase stuff will come along, and that'll be good too. So if you can get your mates in on a syndicate, you don't necessarily have to have a wallet or a team. You can chip in. It's a good way to do it. Just going back to sale of the week, Q would have put out, again, shout out to Q. He's just put his weekly wrap out. It normally comes out after this stream every week, but his press conference has gone out. So check out his NFTeams Sports Radio website. It's always in the community involvement page in the channel in the Discord. He's pointed out there's been 8 sales, he said, in the last 2 weeks of Bored Apes, and they remain to be some of the top sellers. The reckon Bored Apes over the last week since I was on were the highest sale. So just have a quick look at that. 2 ETH. For our project, there's not much being more higher than that. 2 ETH for somebody to shell out. Again, shout out to 30_ETH. Now has 3 Bored Apes, so definitely pushing in a particular direction there. They're popular, and none of us would kick one out the door if someone handed it to us, but to dig their hand in the pocket, and for 30 to have 3 of those apes now. I think one of them was minted potentially, but I know that at least 2 of them have been bought. So those are that's a decent amount of ETH there on those two teams. I think the other one was 2.2, and it had one of the trippy helmets, but it's a pretty cool looking Bored Ape. We all know there's been some Bored Apes that have sold for down to 1 ETH, so this is certainly not the cheapest at 1.98, but it looks pretty cool. It's one of the coolest looking apes that I think we've got, to be honest. So good on you, 30, for picking that one up. There's going to be a bit of monopoly on some of these because Q himself has got 3, so the number of unique owners of apes, whilst there's 98 apes, the number of unique owners is slowly going down as people start picking these up bit by bit by bit. Okay, bargain of the week. Now, I try and do a bit of prep for these. I don't know if it comes across. I try and do a bit of prep for these streams. And I went backward and forward with this one because it's just super subjective. There's 3 or 4, I think, teams that I looked at. We had the Downtown One Eyes was a green cap that went for 0.2. We covered it off the show before last, where the NFTeams cap, the black and the green ones that were that Steve's put out, that they'll receive a cap every year for at least 4 years. Those were pretty popular, and for a cap to go for 0.2, particularly the green one, which is going to be custom made and custom designed, I thought that was a pretty good bargain, and I sort of kicked myself a little bit for not picking that one up. And usually this is how you get on this segment, to be honest. If it's something that I'm a bit annoyed that I didn't pick up, it's probably going to make bargain of the week. But again, during the week, if anyone's got any ideas, just shoot me a DM, or if you see something that you think's particularly well sniped, just drop it in, and I can try and include it every week. But the activated Toros, I think there's a couple of reasons why I thought this one was good. The Bitcoin and the Ether crowns around about 100 of those each. Something we've talked about a couple of times on the stream, and I think they're pretty popular. There's not a lot of movement on them because, as we've seen before, there's less than 12% of teams available now. So if you've got a Bitcoin Crown, I think there's a lot of people. It's one of those ones that are being held on to. I think the interesting thing with this, there's two parts to the bargain of the week for this. Obviously, the fact that it's got a Bitcoin Crown, but the price going for 0.198, I think it was 0.195. I think anything 0.2 or below for a Bitcoin Crown or an ETH Crown is pretty damn good. I think it's probably one of those ones where there's a group. I'm one of them where I love the characters. I love the face of the characters. Anything that's too cluttery on the face takes away, in my opinion, from the character. And I think the things we've talked about the wrestling mask earlier on, the face masks. I think those teams, in my view, so far from what I've seen, it's anecdotal. I don't have the data on it, but I think they've sort of trended a little bit shorter in the market in terms of their price. And I think some of the best bargains for teams with other traits, whether it be the character or another trait of the team, have come about when they've either got something over their face or on covering their face or something like that. So I couldn't really work out why this one would be as cheap as that. Blank Crypto has had a blinder this week. I think there was another team of his that I was looking at for bargain of the week as well. He's picked up a couple in the last couple of days, and I think this one was only actually picked up today, 7 hours ago. So not too far. You can see there, bigwil.eth, 0.152. I bid for it to try and get a bit of a bargain, but no joy there. I've not had much luck with me wrapped ETH bids. The other thing that the other reason why this tipped ahead of the green cap was the stats. Again, another week goes by, another heap of debate about the stats. It gets pretty heated sometimes in the Discord, and I'm right in the middle of it, having a good laugh. But the stats on this guy are pretty up there. So I always talk about trying to get teams that have got around about 220 points. Just no reason. That's just my little benchmark. I probably wouldn't shop below that amount unless it was a real bargain. And this guy's got 265.5 level points. I think if you're getting over 250, you're doing really well. We don't know, and I don't want to fill the stream talking about stats again, but it's probably not going to be useful until the end of next year or into 2023. But I think future-proof in there, and again, it probably adds an extra 0.01 or 2 onto some of these teams. So well done, Blank Crypto. I know you've been pretty active this week in the Discord, and you've kept your eyes out, but I think you've got an absolute bargain there. We just want to go back and cover off one thing. If there's any questions that anyone's got. Oh, that looks beautiful, that, doesn't it? 0.08. I've been waiting for that to come up. That's made my week. I think that nervousness around diving in is something that we've all gone through, Tirzy, and I think it's absolutely real. You know, I was sending some teams to my hard wallet the other day, and you pay the gas, but I'm convinced it's just going to disappear off into the ether, and I'm never going to see it again. So I get a bit nervous still when I do this, even though I've done some of these things. Matt Benwell, surely the prices will go up again next week when crypto on the stock market recovers. Well, it's interesting that trade-off when the price of ETH dips, it's cheaper to get hold of people who are using fiat currency to buy into ETH, then I guess a team for them is cheaper. So you can look at it that way. But most people probably have a wallet full of ETH, and the fluctuations week to week or day to day don't affect it too much. But I think it's that rationalization in people's heads, Matt, that think, well, I'm only paying $400 for a team rather than 500 or whatever it may be. So it definitely does trend. There's a few of the guys in the Discord that have tried to map out the number of sales, gas prices, the activity on OpenSea versus the price of ETH, and there's definitely a correlation there. So it's absolutely a good point. Gert, what day is the market going to recover? I presume you're talking about ETH or Ethereum and Bitcoin. Great. If you get a chance, anybody in the Discord, go to the crypto channel. It's probably now, I used to like the help and security channel, and when I was on the pod with Ku, that was the one I give the shout out to, because I was so naive and so uneducated in this space. But one of the things I've started to to take a bit more interested in is crypto. I think I've spoke to a few of you, and I never had any crypto before I started NFTs. I took a whole chunk of cash out of my betting accounts, dropped it straight into NFTs, picked up a few projects, and away I went. So actually, the only crypto I had was the ETH that was in my MetaMask wallet. I've started to educate myself around crypto, but I'm definitely not the person to answer that question. I've got no idea. I'd just be speculating. There's heaps of smart people out there, but have a look in the crypto channel in the Discord. It gets pretty decent amount of activity. There's all the altcoins that people are talking about. Obviously, the coins and the tokens that are attached to the relevant NFT games and projects are discussed in there. But generally, we've got some really smart people who know quite a bit about Bitcoin and track along. Yeah, Paul's just hit on gas has hit 46. We normally have the gas tracker up here, and we might just give it a little bit of a look. 62 at the moment, great for buying. I think that's another thing. Obviously, Matt, you pointed out that the price of ETH has gone down. The gas, there's not as much work, there's not as much stuff going on, but you can see 1 minute ago, 46 gas. That's probably the lowest I've seen it for average gas price. 46 great for, I don't know, that's probably the lowest I've seen it for weeks and weeks and weeks. So if you're looking to buy a team, I bought a few NFTs this weekend off the back of the low gas that I've been thinking about buying, and obviously good time to get into any mints that are coming up. So definitely there, just bounce back to 47. That's as low as you're going to get. So if you've been eyeing up a team, if there's anything on the floor that you've been thinking about, anything you think you might like, now's the time. I don't know that it's going to get too much lower than that. 4K3 Music. I don't know who everyone is, so I'm going to just have to call you by your YouTube name. Some of you've got your normal YouTube up there. Some of you've got a different name on there. But is the Team Pass, one of the questions, is the Team Pass going to have utility? Any updates on that? So I guess we park the OG pass to one side. That's absolutely going to have the utility that we've all talked about. Good question. There was a few people bought up a couple of the 5 mint passes. They're currently trending around about 0.03 on secondary and OpenSea. If you want to pick one of those up, a lot of us have them from the initial public sale, but obviously they will have some kind of utility. There's been some people hoping that they will be able to remove a trait or add a trait onto your team. I don't think they'll be that good. My guess, to be honest, would be that there'll be a separate tournament or a separate game that you can enter. And it might well be that game 2, which comes a little bit after January, and when we get that first tournament, the first main tournament away, Steve might do a beta tournament or something like that for game 2 and say you can only enter the beta tournament if you burn your pass, or there might be some kind of tournament that people can use it. That's been my guess from almost day one. I actually think at 0.03 it probably still represents good value if you can, when the gas is as low as what it is, if you can go and pick up a couple of the mint passes. It's on a separate OpenSea page. The link's in the Discord under official links. But if you can pick one of those up, if you haven't got one, I'd recommend everyone having at least one in their wallet so you don't miss out and you've got some skin in the game. It could be anything. There's some people talked about being able to increase the levels and the stats on a particular team. So there is that. And second guessing Steve's, you're mad if you try and second guess it, because he always comes out with something that nobody's thought of. He hasn't touched on it very much, to be honest. I think it's next time he's on Q's pod. I don't know if Q's listening tonight or if he'll go back through. I think he usually listens to them. We maybe ask Steve either in the Discord or next time he's on NFT Sports Radio. We can ask him a little bit more. We haven't probed him too much about that, but it's a good question. I'd love it if it added stats to the team. As you know, I'm a stats man. I think it would make really, really interesting. Just from a technical point of view, all the metadata exists at the moment, and there is going to come a time when Steve's going to have to lock that down. Now, I'm not 100% across once he's locked that down and it's all in the system. He hasn't done that at the moment because obviously there's going to be some name changes. How the name changes occur, how the OG pass goes around the neck, I don't know if it's going to be easy in time to change the stats of teams. So whether or not it's a one-off thing that happens soon, around the time when the OG pass goes on sale. I'm not sure, but that would be my guess. I think good question though. I just want to cover off zombies. That was the character of the week that I just wanted to cover off. It gets the poor zombies, making zombies great again. It's becoming a pastime, but the floor is obviously the floor. I can't imagine a time when the zombies won't make up the floor, or pretty close to it. But I think the one that I wanted to point out, and it touches on one of the things we talked about earlier in the stream. You can sometimes get a bargain if you like a particular trait. You can sometimes get a bargain if it's a less fancied. If you really like a Cyclops, for example, and it's got the Diomed and the glasses on, they're going to be a little bit cheaper. But if you look at the Deegan zombies here, as a robot, yeah, the mushroom walkers as well. The Deegan zombies here, 1 ETH and 1.05 ETH for a gold. Now that is a pretty damn good looking gold. Obviously I'm biased, but the colours match, the black and white's nice. It's got the cap. If that was probably a more fancy character, I think that probably goes for more. It's picked up by an unnamed wallet, but the zombies do still command some respect in some parts of the project. And then here the mushroom walkers. This went for 0.5 days ago, earlier on in the week, and I nearly made this. This is another one that was in for bargain of the week. Murphy picked it up, and I think there's been a few robots that have gone for less than that, but I think that was before they got super popular, and then Justice started cornering the market. He owns about 5,000 of them, so it's really hard to get hold of one because he doesn't let them go too easily. But I think the zombies, you can still get some of these cool looking zombies. That's a pretty good looking robot for me. There's not too much clutter going on. His glasses look good. So I just want to shout out the zombies. There's obviously been a bit of a run on them, and I pitched to talk about the zombies this week a couple of days ago, and I've just been tracking how they've gone. But the little run on them in the last little while has been pretty good. So we've had the Parade in Undead went for a decent fee of 0.22. The Stress Walkers was picked up below mint, which was great because that had been there for quite a while. And the other one was the Lion Z heads as well. That was below mint price for a while. So thanks to the guys that have picked those up. The Mumbai Undead, I think, is still up for sale. Let's have a look. I'll quickly entertain. Let's go for recently listed. Buy it now and see what the Mumbai Undead is. I didn't see it on there, so apologies if it was under my nose and I've missed it. So this is just me. This is just me promoting for Banksy his NFT. But why not? That's probably something we can do, given it's the character of the week. 0.55. We just seen that one of the ones went for 0.5. It was a bit cleaner than this. I got a slap on the wrist in the Discord for telling people what to list there, or giving advice around what to list things for. So I'm not going to tell you if the price is good, bad, or ugly. But obviously the metal is one thing that people like the look of. Bit of clutter going on in the face. The black eye doesn't. I think Justice had an idea where use those 5 game mint passes to heal part of the injuries, the sports injuries, or the black eyes of some of these teams. And I think not many people are a fan of the black eye. It looks really good on some teams, and the names are sometimes correlating with the black eye a little bit and makes it sound pretty cool. But most of the time, the black eye is one of the ones that I don't think people have aped into. And we've talked about the mask covering the faces, but I think some people would rather have a mask on some of the zombies, given the drip they get in the Discord. Levels are pretty good for that. Yeah, 0.55 for a robot. I've said it before, if you can get a robot for in and around that, Justice, if you're on there, get a bit in there. I think there's a bargain to be had. We've talked about koalas a few times, Tazy. Good question in there, but I'll probably not go over koalas again. I don't want to be overly self-indulgent, and I'm trying to pick up a koala. What I've realised is there seems to be a premium on Newcastle United shirts. Koalas, pandas, and Zeuses seem to be getting snapped up. So I think I've done myself a bit of a disservice there. I think I've put the price of the teams that I'm after up a little bit, but it's all good fun. Banksy said it wasn't his, but it was a good one to point out at 0.55. Well, we've just given them whoever's team that is 0.55. That robot there, Run by Undead. We've given them a bit of free airtime. Okay, enough of me talking. This is the bit. Derek hearing that leprechauns are the new robots. Well, talk to Justice about that. I don't mind the leprechauns, but I don't think they're the new robots by any stretch, if I'm being honest. All right, so here we go. We'll try and wrap up the stream. Let's people put in the chat, and I'll try and keep up the name of your team that you own that you want entering into the duck race, and I'll try and type the names as quickly as I can. We've got 35 people on there, and what I said I was going to do before was try and get a little rubber duck. If we're going to do this every week, I don't think Steve's going to be as generous to give us a $100 merch pack. This merch pack came along because of the quiz and being able to get. I came third in the quiz, but there were a couple of people ahead of me in the queue that had already won the quiz, so we got it nicely jiggy. He said we'd hand it down, so we've got a $100 merch pack to give away. You guys are going to have to police this because the chat's going quicker than I can keep up on my typing, so you'll have to make sure if you don't see your team in there that you put it back in. Anybody, I'll check this. Anybody who puts two teams in will get disqualified. It's one team. It's one team per person, or it'll be the first one that goes in will get entered. Let's have a look. The crawling minotaurs. Good job you can enter 100 into this. We're gonna have a decent attendance in. I've got to call this as well. I think when we did this last week, I'd had some problems with the stream and we had to come back on, and a few people dropped in. But I actually forgot that I was actually going to have to call it, so I don't know how well I did last time, but we'll see how we go. United States Heifers coming back for a rerun. Nearly took it out last week. I'm entering mine in. I've got my profile, my profile picture, the Hacking Drakes. I've got it in there. I'm a massive fan of the Ducks, and that's part of where this idea came from. Again, I'm not going to get all of the typing right, so apologies if I've got some of the names wrong, but you'll know who's who. The Begotta Wolfgangs. Okay, we must be getting close to the end. Rug Pull Ducks. Thought I'd already put that one in. Did I already have that one in? No. Okay, nearly finished. Downtown One Eyes. See, I was thinking about getting these in advance, but the problem is we want people to be in the stream to win it. It's not fair. It's not fair if someone wins it when they're not in the stream. So I think I'll try and stick to it. It just obviously prolongs the stream, but obviously the excitement is building. You can't have more than one name. If you've put more than one name in and your second team wins, I'll scratch you off and the second place team will win. Should have made that I should have made that a little bit more clear at the start, but JPEG Gators. I might let people off this week who didn't know. Okay, we're nearly at the end. The Wielding Stalkers, Crashing. If anyone knows that they've put two in and they want to take one out just in case, let me know. Okay. Okay, Gert's got a good feeling about this. I don't know which one Gert's put in, but I think that's about it. 31 teams on the list. Oh God, I hope this loads and doesn't crash. Let me just copy that. Okay, we did 60 seconds last time. I might actually extend it out to 90 seconds so we can get a bit more a bit more time, and maybe you can see your team in there. There was a bit of there was only a few teams got talked about last time. Right, we've gone over 40 minutes for this stream, which wasn't the idea, so we'll get going. $100 merch pack to the winner. Oh geez, look at this. Now I just want to make sure that everyone can see it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Good luck. Let's see how we go. Okay, 90 seconds. The best 90 seconds of the week. Okay, Mexico City Koalas takes an early lead, number 25. We've got the Laughing Aliens there in third or fourth place, team 8. We've got a Ducklands team, team 9, that I can't say the name of. Relaxed Drakes coming up at the bottom here, number 4. The JPEG Gate is slowly at the top, just ticking along nicely. Oh, the Super Crocs, and it's a green one as well. That's going to stand out. The Hacking Drakes, that's my team, looking to nudge along. At the bottom, the USA Heifers back up there again in the front, up there with the Netherlands Aliens. The Crashing Shorthorns, team 30, right at the top. Liverpool Kings in pink. I'm not going to comment on that. Oh, look at this, the Butterins Bears in the clown outfit, making a run for it. Everyone's having a bit of a go. There's a bit of a jostling for position early. There's a few teams out the back. The Descending Mallards just put its head in front there, number 2. Chops and changes all over the place. We've got the Darton Mallards now, number 6, in the Doctor's outfit. Laughing Aliens coming back there. It's already been in the front once, going back to the front. And what's this? The Thundered Apes have gone straight to the front from the back. Number 23, JPEG Gators in third place. The Crashing Shorthorns in fourth at the top there. Liverpool Kings making another jostle. Only 18 seconds to go. We're going to find out. This is the business end of the race. The Hacking Drakes are still in the top 10. The Buttering Bears are still there. The Liverpool Kings in third. JPEG Gators have got their nose in front. The Barcelona Ducks, team 31, right at the top there, making an absolute dive for it. We've got either Relaxed Drakes, number 4. It's always someone who makes an absolute steam and charge at the end. The Relaxed Drakes wasn't mentioned for the whole way through. Oh Jesus, that is. My eyes were at the top there. I thought it was going to be one of the teams at the top. The Relaxed Drakes. Who's got the Yeah, Jordan, there's a few of them hit the brakes. It's a pretty brutal game, to be honest. There's a bog track right at the end. Carl Jr., the Relaxed Drakes. Now, if we go back on here, we can probably have a quick look, see if it's a team that hasn't just been made up. We probably should give the team a proper shout out. Quality Duck Race. Well, it was 31. And look, it's gone to a Drake, it's gone to a Duck. We can't ask for any more. The Relaxed Drakes. I mean, it looks awful. Let's be honest about it. It's got the Dear Mednas on. I hate the Dear Mednas, and it's got one of the masks. But I don't know if that'll be the one you put on your merch. But there you go. $100 merch pack. Well done, mate. And again, shout out to GK80 and the guys in the quiz. For generously donating it. We won't have a merch pack every time, but we'll try and think of something. If you've got any ideas, let us know. We'll wrap it up there, boys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for dialing in. If you do have any ideas for what you want covering off in here, let me know and we can try and cover it off in the future. But for now, thanks very much.